level of services that our citizens deserve and expect. And we do so with less money due to declining revenues and increased costs. Our situation is further complicated by what we've inherited. The bus crisis is a prime example of the kinds of problems we face. An aging bus fleet and a lack of resources. This is not an excuse, but it underscores the level of problems I've had to address and continue to address since I took office 2 years ago. We have to work together to find a solution that gets buses back on the streets. But more importantly, a solution that allows our citizens to get to work on time, to school on time, and make their appointments on time. This afternoon, I convened a meeting with our union leadership and DDOT management to put an end to our current bus crisis. We had a positive and constructive discussion. I said that we all needed to be on the same page to find a solution to this crisis, and everyone agreed. I understand that times are tough, but the city is not in a fiscal position to spend the way we did in the past. And the bottom line is we need to get buses out of the repair shop and onto the streets. The impact on residents is totally unacceptable. Right now, we're simply not getting it done, and I share in the frustrations with all of our citizens. We need 305 buses on the street to provide good service. Over the last month, we are on an average of almost 100 buses short of what we need. I've instructed all parties that we need a solution within 30 days, and we're going to exchange paths to a solution that will resolve this crisis. DDOT management has a responsibility to help us get there. Union leadership has a responsibility to help us get there. I will do whatever it takes to solve this problem and get us out of the current crisis that we're in. At this time, I'd like to open up for some Q&A.
I was wondering about the logistics. What happens if in 30 days you're looking at it and there's still only 200 buses out there?
I'll do whatever it takes to get the necessary buses on the street. As we look at people standing in line for 2 or 3 hours waiting for a bus, as we look at children that are trying to get to school on time in the cold weather waiting for a bus, as we look at people trying to get to their jobs on a daily basis waiting for a bus, that is unacceptable, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to resolve that.
Will that include contracting out if you have to? I mean, I know that might be last ditch, but could that include that?
Nothing is off the table.
Yeah, I was going to ask the same question because I stood in the shoes of the citizens today, and it did take about 3 hours, but I did see at least 20 smart buses go past me. So I was wondering, would the smart bus be able to pick up the citizens in the city of Detroit within your 30-day limit?
I think there would be some conversations potentially with SMART, but right now I want to focus on what we control, and that's DDOT.
So what are we going to do? Are the mechanics going to work harder or longer to fix, or are there, I know we got a little bit of a windfall money this week earlier. I mean, talk about some of the things we can do.
That windfall money will not solve the problem that we have today. That $6 million are for buses that will come to us in 2013. But meeting with the union today, I made it very clear that all of us got to work harder than we're working. That's not to say that people have not worked hard, but it's not good enough. We've got to make sure that we can't allow our citizens to go through what they've been going through any longer.
So what does that mean? I'm sorry, I don't mean just to follow up. Does that mean that the mechanics, more mechanics, or the mechanics will work harder, or maybe, I don't know, put more resources in, or?
There are some solutions. Starting tomorrow, there's a committee representing management, representing the union. We'll sit down and start bringing up the ideas in terms of what we have to work with and how we're going to utilize the resources better than we have in the past. I'm not going to stand and point fingers and lay blame on anybody right now. The problem is people are unhappy as they should be. We've got to do a better job than we've done.
Are you going to meet with City Council, and do you have a response to what they were saying yesterday regarding the city?
We meet on a consistent basis with City Council, and the resolution that was put forth by Councilwoman Jenkins is something that I think is positive, something that we want to act on.
What exactly is the problem? Because you mentioned there's aging fleet, lack of resources, but this is a problem that has intensified so much within the past, 6 weeks or so. So what happened 6 weeks ago that made it so much worse?
Well, we had, I believe one of the things, we had a lot of retirements, and we couldn't replace those people as fast as we need to because the skill sets that are out there that are available are not up to par to put people into the maintenance department.
What would you say to the citizens then? I mean, you're making a promise, basically, aren't you, that you're going to get those buses out there within 30 days? I mean, what would you say to the people who are so frustrated, understandably so? You too.
They will see progress starting in a very short period of time. But I don't want to lead people astray and lie to them and say we're going to fix this problem in the next 30 days. It's not going to be fixed in 30 days, but we've got to make improvements in the next 30 days. We're dealing with a system that's broken, and it's been broken for years and years. And it's going to take a lot of effort, and it's going to take a lot of planning and a lot of money, quite frankly, to fix our system the way it should be over the long haul.
Over the next 30 days, does this mean a suspension of furlough days, or does it also include increased hours for mechanics?
It could. That decision has not been made yet. I'm going to be waiting on a daily basis as these meetings are convened, and we started getting recommendations. And if they're good recommendations that make a positive impact, then we would institute those.
Mayor Bigby, I don't know if this goes beyond the contract, but years ago they started using contractors on the snow removal when snow came to 6 inches or something. Could they still have the DDOT buses but add some contracted buses in?
Well, I've got to be very careful what I do because I've got some restraints with collective bargaining agreements. And I can't just go out and do anything that I want to do. So I will have to make sure that our Human Resource Department, our Labor Department, and our Legal Department, they will give me some direction on what I can and can't do relative to collective bargaining agreements.
Two more questions, please.
What is it that upper management want with the bus, the DOT?
Your question again?
What do they want? I mean, I'm not understanding what upper management wants. Do they want something? Are they holding back on repairs or bus service because they want something?
No, not at all. I think we all want the same thing. We have to service our citizens much better than we have been. And so I think there's been this push and pull, labor and management. We got to get away from that. There's got to be one team all pulling for the same thing, and that's to satisfy the citizens here in Detroit.
So as people go to work tomorrow through the rest of the 30 days, what do you encourage them to do to prepare themselves for the buses that may or may not come?
I can't tell you that that's going to happen tomorrow. We've got right now a window of about 30 days that we will sit down and make sure we come up with solutions. Solutions in those 30 days are going to be short-term. We got a short-term issue we've got to deal with. But we've got a bigger issue, and that's the long-term instability of a bus system that's been broken for a long time. So I really don't want to make people think that it's going to be fixed and it's going to be perfect in the next few months. It's not, but we're going to be better than we are today.
Thank you, Mayor Dan.
Thank you.